Hey y'all. I'm really digging these videos outside in my backyard. I've never been a big fan of my backyard. You're not going to be able to see anything. We kind of live in a forest, and I am not a outdoor person. So I've never really been a fan, but I've been spending a lot of time out here since we just got our dog. And it's kind of growing on me. I kind of like doing the videos out here. It's kind of quiet sometimes when the cars aren't zooming around down the street behind us. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about mid-year transitions. So something that one of our new members had asked about today, and I thought that would be a good one to tackle since there might be some of you that are also in that position and are thinking about doing that. You can absolutely do it. The first thing you're going to need to do is check the law in your state. The laws are different in every state, which does make it kind of tricky, but there is a great resource called hslda.org. Stands for Homeschool Defense something. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, they are a law organization that helps to fight for homeschool freedom. So they are a Christian organization. I will state that out there too, just so you know. But they have a fantastic page on their website where you can learn about the law for every state. They make it very easy to understand. And of course, you can go to any of the organizations in your own state and figure out exactly what it is that you need to do. But anyway, that's always going to be your first step, is figuring out the law. But after you do that, the transition, it really depends on the kid, how it's going to go. Some kids are so miserable at school right now. And if you bring them home, it is going to release such a weight from their shoulders that they are going to be excited. And they're going to want to hit the ground running. And they're going to be thrilled with this new opportunity. Other kids who are miserable are going to need some time to kind of detox from school. We call this deschooling, and I actually talked about it a little bit in the article that I posted today that was asking about how to convince your husband to let you homeschool. And I had mentioned something about deschooling, and somebody in the comments asked about that, so I posted a resource there that you can check out. But basically, deschooling is like a detox period that allows your child to really get rid of all of those expectations that they have felt on their shoulders for the whole time that they've been in school. We don't really think about it, but once you start going to school is kind of your whole world. I mean, even in the summer, there's this like specter off in the distance that you just know is eventually going to be the beginning of the school year coming again, Your whole life is dictated by school. And if your experience in school has been miserable for any particular reason, bullying or academic struggles, learning struggles, just bad teachers, not feeling safe at school, then when you come out of that environment, it can take a while to really release all of that negativity and to get rid of all of that off your shoulders. But not only that, parents need time to deschool also, because if you've had a kid in the system, traditional school system, for very long, and chances are you were also raised in traditional school system as well, conventional school. So you are also kind of brainwashed in a way. And that deschooling period is a great opportunity for you as well to release yourself from those expectations and those assumptions about what education needs to look like. And so I always recommend when people transition into homeschooling, regardless of whether they're doing it in August at the beginning of the year or they're doing it in the middle of the year, you need to give your kids time to deschool a little bit. And how long that takes really depends on what your kid's experience has been like. And it also depends on, unfortunately, what your state's requirements are. If they require that the minute you start homeschooling, you are tracking everything and you are recording everything and you're getting through a certain amount of stuff every month and blah, 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 it can be kind of hard to do that deschooling, which is another reason why you want to get in touch with other homeschoolers in your state, because they're going to be able to help you figure out how to navigate that. Deschooling is a common thing in the homeschooling world. So people are going to know what you're talking about if you say, hey, I want to take my kid out like now. How do we deschool if we also have to do XYZ for the state? And people will help you figure that out. But honestly, okay, so we're already in February, March, April, May. Your kids have about 4 solid months of school time, quote unquote, left. Honestly, if you had a kid who was in 4th or 5th grade or higher, I would take them out now and I wouldn't do school at all until the fall, which kind of freaks some people out and they think, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I can't not do school. But you are doing your child and yourself such a favor by allowing them that time, because if you bring them home and you immediately put them back into, okay, here's the curriculum, we need to get through all this stuff today, they never get a chance to decompress and they've gone from one pressure cooker to another. You know what I mean? You want to give them an opportunity to rediscover their natural love of learning and their natural curiosity again. And it's really hard to do that if you are also forcing them to do your math, do your English, do your science, do your history, do your reading every day as well. So there's kind of a very, very loose formula for deschooling that says for every year your child has been in conventional school, you should do a month of deschooling. That is super loose, because like I said, some kids are going to be excited and they're going to come home and be like, yes, this is awesome, let's do it. Other kids are going to take a really long time. So you really just have to keep in dialogue with your child, particularly older children, and keep an eye on how they're using their time and what they're doing. But truthfully, being this far into the school year already, if you were to get them home soon, I would strongly encourage you not to do any, if you can help it, any formal schooling stuff until the fall. That gives them all of the rest of the semester to deschool. It gives them the summer to relax and enjoy their summer, and then y'all can start fresh in the fall. And it also gives you the opportunity to take that time to really figure out your foundation and how are you going to do this? What is homeschooling going to look like? What curriculum are you going to use? What's your philosophy? What methodology are you going to follow? The more work you do at the front end, the more likely it is you're going to have a very successful first year and a very successful long term. And for me anyway, when I'm working with my clients, successful long term is our goal. And we approach that by laying a very solid foundation and ensuring that their first year goes as smoothly as possible. Because if your first year goes smoothly, you're much more likely to continue. But for those of you who can't completely deschool, you can't do, absolutely no academic stuff whatsoever, you look for the most fun ways that you can do curriculum, quote unquote, that you can do academics, I should say, not curriculum. Things like Magic School Bus TV show, fantastic for science. Wildcrats, great show, fantastic for science. Magic Treehouse books, great for history. Your local museum, your local children's museum, field trips with other homeschoolers in your area, games, oh my gosh, board games. You would not believe how much education you can pass on to your child through board games. I'm serious. In fact, there are game schooling organizations, groups. I know there's at least one on Facebook. And people say, hey, I want to teach my kid about XYZ. What's a game that you guys know of? And people go, oh, this one. So look for ways that are going to be learning without feeling like you're learning. Learning that is fun. That's going to allow your child to, yes, get some education, but to also do it in a way that does not feel like school, because that's what you're aiming for when you're deschooling, as little school feel as possible. But just in terms of, can you make a mid-year transition? Absolutely. It is so much better to pull your kid out and have no idea what you're doing than to leave them in a system that is constantly beating them down. Particularly if your child has anxiety, oh my gosh, or depression, get them out now, please. I am begging you. You're gonna find the information you need in this group and plenty of others. And like I said in my article today, I'm going to open my coaching again in next week, most likely. So if you're like, I've got to do this now and we've got to find curriculum, okay, I can help you with that. You can, if you want to work with me, we can do that. I can get you completely set up and you're going to be fine. But it is so much better to get your kid out of that system that is drowning them than to let them languish there and every day feel more and more depressed and anxious and worried and angry and constantly having their poor, sweet little soul beaten down and trodden on. You know what I mean? It's going to be an adjustment. Deschooling is going to feel weird. Homeschooling is going to feel weird. It's going to take a while for y'all to figure out your rhythm. But people do it all the time. I've coached. In fact, I think probably half the people I've coached have taken their kids out mid-year and then said, oh crap, I took them out. I have no idea what I'm doing. Please help me. But it is so much better. And it is your kid's going to thank you when they're old enough to put 2 and 2 together and see just what you saved them from when you got them out of that. And regardless of how awkward and frustrating and confusing and weird it feels to do the deschooling and then the homeschooling, and it will be so much better than what they're doing right now. So if your gut is telling you this has to end, I've got to get my kid out of here, follow your gut. God gave us mamas this gut for a reason, and we need to listen to it. So yes, there are going to be hurdles to jump over and things to figure out and hoops to jump through, and but oh my gosh, so worth it, so worth it, so worth it. So I hope that's encouraging for you, mama, who posted that question, and for anyone else who's maybe thinking about that. Remember, in fact, I'll link to the HSLDA site, the page that has the actual laws thing, so that you can find that easily. And then I'll also post that the article again on deschooling, so you can see a little bit more about what that is. You don't have to go dig for it. But I just want you to know you can do it. Okay? I promise you can do it. You can do it. And you will be glad you did. Okay? Have an awesome night. Love y'all. See ya.